Hey, everybody, this is Brett Ingram, and this is the optYOUmize podcast, the show that helps entrepreneurs build their dream business and dream life. Today, we're talking with Terry Fossum, survival reality show winner, #1 best-selling author, and his TEDx talk debuted at #2 in the world and is named one of the top 30 TEDx talks that made an impact this century. He reached the top fraction of 1% of his industry in the world, and he's raised millions for charities across the country. I'm super excited because he's seen it done so much and he's crushed it all. So I know he's going to have some wisdom to share with us. With that, welcome, Terry. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Well, Brett, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate what you're doing to empower people to be able to have both a business and a life, which is so critical. I appreciate that. But I will have to admit right away, I did not crush everything. I screwed up way more things than I've ever crushed in my life. And that might be why I've done a couple of things right.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've seen and talked to so many entrepreneurs. I've lived my own journey, and I've read biographies of people that I haven't met. And it's fascinating to me that for some reason there seems to be a perception that anybody that's achieved anything in life, it was just easy. It came natural. Everything they did, all the lights were green. You pull back the curtain a little bit, and what you start to realize is most often it was struggle after struggle after
Oh,
struggle,
yeah.
and then you finally figured something out. And so it's all good. It's all
Well,
good.
it's absolutely true. And that's why I try to teach people that, first of all, like you said, every single person who's ever succeeded at anything has failed and failed and failed. All too often when we're failing, we're like, oh, this sucks. I can't do this. Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. I'm no good at it. No. From now on, folks, if you're failing, I want you to go, yes, I'm on the path to success, because the path to success is paved with failures. If you're not failing, you're not on any path at all.
Yeah, I love that. And I really do believe, it's through getting through those kinds of issues and problems that we develop the perseverance, we develop the vision, we develop the wisdom, and make the necessary corrections and adjustments to get to where we want to go. And a lot of times, again, I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs too, that their original vision for what they were doing was something completely different than where they are now. And it's fascinating to me how many people I've spoken to where what they're currently doing is, interestingly, this mashup culmination of all these, and you can see pieces of it throughout their career and all the various things they've done. So speaking of that, I actually have a ton of stuff that I want to ask you about, but can we start off with your personal story? I'm curious about your background and how you actually started your career.
Yeah, I was raised in literally the poorest city in the entire United States of America, a small Texas-Mexico border town that you've heard of. Everybody's heard of. It's called McAllen, Texas. You've heard it on the news. That's where the border crossings are happening, cartels are coming across, etc. Literally the poorest city in the entire United States. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my hometown. I love my hometown. Got a lot of friends there still, great food, but it can be a little rough growing up there sometimes with the gangs and the drugs. I was on the wrong end of an assault rifle in junior high in my own back
Junior high.
alley.
Wow.
Wrong time, wrong place, wondering if my next breath would be my last one. In high school, my dad, was killed. Before he died, one of the neighbors came up to him and said, I just want to make sure you understand something. Those 3 boys of yours, your 3 sons, not a single one of them's ever going to grow up to be anything. So that's my background. That's where I come from.
Wow. That's a rough start.
Well, in a way, I thank God for it, because nobody wants to hear from some silver-spooned imposter who's had it good all their life, right? We're not going to learn from those people. So the fact that I've been through what I've been through, I guess gives me the street cred, if you will. If you're going through something, I'm speaking to the listeners here, if you're going through something, you're not alone. You're not alone, and your past does not define your future. You've heard that a million times, but it's the God's honest truth, or I'd be dead or in a gang right now.
Yeah, and I also think you can never hear it too many times.
Yeah.
I coach entrepreneurs every day, and the number of them that have so many things going for them, but have this difficulty, this challenge, this feeling of isolation, and the loneliness with it, and the struggle. is
Yeah.
fascinating to me. And one of the first things I always say is, just so you know, like I talk to a lot of people all the time and I hear this story over. It's not, you're not alone. Like people have
Right.
gone through this. And so you just have to break things down into pieces and figure out what your next step is and just keep moving.
Yeah.
And the answers will come to you from that motion and from that action. And so, I do think that's super important. And I agree with your other point as well. I'll tell you a funny side story. When I was going to start my podcast, one of the issues I had that delayed me a little bit is I thought, well, if I have a podcast for entrepreneurs and this is what we're going to be talking about, I need to know everything about entrepreneurship. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for 18 years, so I've done some cool stuff, but I'm by far not the most successful entrepreneur, by far not the most wealthy entrepreneur. So, geez, what am I going to share
Yeah.
that I'm going to help people? And then what the light bulb sort of went on, I realized, no, I don't need the answers. I need to share the journey. It's
Yes.
it's the vulnerability, it's the humanity in what we do that makes us real to other people and makes our
Yeah.
stories engaging in the first place. Like
Yeah.
you said, to stand up there and say, well, this is how you do this is how you do that. Oh, I did that with 25 years. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yet all of us, I think, get those same feelings that you were talking about, that imposter syndrome. Who am
Yeah.
I? I'm not the richest person around. I'm not the, most successful, whatever that means to you, et cetera, et cetera. You know what? You just got to be real. Share what you do know. I get advice from people who have a lot less money than me, et cetera, all the time. Why? Because they're going to teach me something I don't know. I'm doing the
Yeah.
best I can with the information I've got. But that's not where I want to be. I want to be up here. Where am I going to learn that? From other people. So, whatever your story is, folks, whatever lessons you've got to teach people, there are people out there waiting to hear them. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, how you can do that.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so I've got to ask you this. I'm just going to get it out of the way. You were a reality show winner.
Yeah.
Can you share with us what that was all about and how were you able to win?
By the grace of God Himself. That's how. Well, I'll give you the quick version of the background. I did not apply to be on any survival reality show. I didn't want to. They reached out to me. I get this email out of the blue that we're doing a brand new television survival reality show, prime time on Fox Network. It's currently airing on Prime Video, by the way. If you want to go check
Awesome.
it out, it's called Kicking and Screaming, because it pit 10 of the top survival experts in the country against each other while dragging along a complete novice, somebody who's never even camped out in their backyard before, kicking and screaming. And
Wow.
again, cutting the story short, I get there and I find out, number one, I'm the oldest competitor on the entire show. And I'm against all these young whippersnappers. My competition was special forces guys, a Marine Scout sniper, mercenary who helped take out Saddam Hussein, a fourth degree ninja black belt that I had seen on Naked and Afraid, all stars except for the fuzzy parts, and military survival instructors. And who am I? They also wanted me to represent all of Boy Scouts of America in my Scoutmaster uniform. So I'm the fat old Scoutmaster on the show. They
Awesome.
team, yeah, I'm glad you think so. I did not. So they teamed me up with a young lady who was pink and blue hair, fully tattooed up, tongue ring, atheist, admitted sex addict, online video gamer, and the Scoutmaster. But look at it from her perspective before anybody judges her. When they're coming on the boat and they're seeing all these young studs, all these mercenaries, all these survivalists, and the fat, she's going, please don't give me the old fat Scoutmaster. Please do not give me the fat old Scout. She is.
That's
But
awesome.
to answer your question, scouting, and you and I talked about scouting. You're an Eagle Scout. Before we started recording here, it teaches you how to take, and as a Scoutmaster, I take kids from all different backgrounds. I don't care about their past. I care about their future. Race,
Yeah.
color, creed, religion, socioeconomic doesn't matter. We love them all and we help them all. And getting all those skills of working together, we ended up, again, by the grace of God, winning the entire stinking show. Nobody was more surprised
Amazing.
than I was.
That is amazing. Yeah. I mean, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So, all right. So I got to switch gears, talk a little bit about your professional life also. So I know you credit your TEDx talk with completely changing your world. I want to dig into the steps behind that and a little bit
Yeah.
more. But first, can you just give us sort of the 10,000 foot view about how things change for you as a result of that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's crazy. It's the biggest stage in the world. And if you want instant credibility, you want that street cred we'd mentioned, become a TEDx speaker. And we're going to help you do it. We're going to tell you how to do it. We're going to give you a free tool before the end of this show. So get ready to write something down. But here's the deal, it makes you an industry expert. So whereas everybody's got their ideas, their thoughts, their concept, the thing they're selling, their product, their service, their business, whatever, everybody is. There's billions of them. But the second you're a TEDx speaker, suddenly, bam, your perception is you're a cut above. Now they want to listen to you. And I've done some cool things, right? But as soon as they hear that, that I'm a TEDx speaker, oh my gosh, I might have to listen to your TED talk. Just like that. It's crazy. So I had a book and it hit number one on Wall Street Journal, number one on Amazon, number one on Barnes and Noble, best-selling book on USA Today. That being said, it all sits there until you do a TED talk. Then suddenly people want to read your book. As far as speaking goes, trying to get on stages, everybody wants to get paid money to give their opinion, right?
Yeah, of
Not
course.
everybody. Yeah, a lot of people do. And so therefore these event coordinators are just getting hit by people. You can't even talk to an agent. That's just not even possible. But then when you become a TEDx speaker, suddenly, wait a minute. First of all, you've got a speaker reel. You can send them your TED talk. And they realize you're a cut above. You're already trained. You already have a great message, or it wouldn't have got on a TEDx stage. And things open up. And that's what happened to me. It just, everything opens up. If you do a TED talk correctly, and if you promote it correctly, you've got to have the right strategy. Just giving a TED talk won't do a darn thing for you. Most of them sit there. But if you know how to do it right and how to promote it right and have the right tools, the right strategy, it's life-changing. One talk really can change everything.
That's amazing. It's awesome. And I mean, I've seen, look, I've seen from my own perspective, in talking to people, there's definitely sort of an instant credibility factor. Look, with books too, right? I mean, part of the reason people want to become authors is, yes, they want to share their story, but they want the credibility from it. And TEDx, everybody knows the TED Talk. So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you say, "Oh, I was a TEDx," okay, and it's interesting to me because in booking guests for my own show, one of the things that I find is, despite everybody's credentials, if they've done a TEDx talk, that's always at the top.
Isn't that
You know what I
something?
mean?
Isn't
Yeah,
that
yeah,
something?
because everybody recognizes the
Yeah.
credibility that comes with it. So that's really
Yeah.
cool. So what is the difference between, okay, so I get booked for a TEDx talk and mine's okay, but yours is great. Are there differences, or is
Yeah.
just the fact that you're on that stage the thing that matters?
Yeah. No, let's talk about, in fact, for everybody, I'm going to go ahead and give you a strategy for developing a fantastic TEDx talk. And by the way, TED is the one national one. TEDx is the local one. TEDx Spokane, TEDx London, TEDx whatever. So that's the difference when you hear that. Okay. Whether you want to give a TED talk or not, whether you want to talk or not, whatever, this is going to help you get ready to write this down. Here's the way they do it. And you can see this in almost every Disney movie, almost every movie. Here's the way it goes, folks. Here's what you want to do. You start off with a great story that makes people smile and feel good and bring them in. Get them smiling, get them attached to you. You're smiling, they're smiling, everybody's smiling. And then, boom, hit them between the eyes with something hard. And that brings them way down. You've got that oh crap factor that happens right there, right? Because they care about you. You got them to care about you, that you're a good person, et cetera. You got this great story. Because they care about you, now they feel that low. And that's exactly what you want to do. Now, the story could be about somebody else, and then this horrible thing happened to them. Bam. Now you've owned them. Now you've got the audience. Your job then is problem solution format. This happened. This horrible thing happened. Now you want to build up with your strategy, your product, your service. You can't sell from the stage, but you can make yourself and your concept an industry expert. So you build it up from there and end up with the happy ending at the end of a Disney movie or any other movie. You can do it in such a way where they can't wait to jump up on their feet and give you that standing ovation that every speaker prays for. you set that up. It's all strategy. If you watch my TED Talk, and again, just search Terry Fossum TEDx and you'll find it. You'll see exactly what I did. And I can tell, well, you could hear it. I don't think they did an audience shot, but you can hear it. Everybody was on their feet, baby, and cheering and screaming. I walked off the stage. They were still going crazy because I just want to make room for the next person. But yeah, that's the deal. That's how you put together a fantastic talk. Still need to promote it, but that's how you get it to be set to go viral.
That's awesome. That's great advice there. Appreciate that. All right. So let's say someone is interested in the idea of this, but they don't know if they've got a story compelling enough or an idea to share that is going to make for a good talk. Is there a way to vet that? Is there a way for me to say, okay, I've got this idea. How can I beta test this to see if this is something that's worthy of that?
It's so critical. Otherwise you're beating your head up against a wall, and we don't need to do that. So many people who think they've got a great idea, maybe they do, but they just don't know how to word it right. It's not quite there. And that's where everybody, I'm going to give you a free tool right now, a free AI tool. Now, understand this before I say, it's a AI tool. I know everybody and their mama's creating AI tools these days. I know it. Okay. First of all, I'm an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. So I'm a geek, and I'm working with AI at a cognitive level higher than 99% of the population right now. I really got into this, man. It's crazy. So
Awesome.
when I develop a GPT and AI, this thing's phenomenal, man. What you're going to do is you're going to go to ideascore.ai, ideascore.ai. You're going to put your idea in there, and it's going to honestly tell you if it's a good idea or not, if it's going to land a stage or not. But it's going to do more than that. Because first of all, if it's not, it's going to tell you flat out. Because I told this thing, you be blatantly honest. We don't want to blow smoke where smoke should not be blown. So it's going to be blatantly honest with you. But it will give you, okay, that's not quite there. And it'll give you a percent score on it. But here's 5 other ways to reframe your message that have a better chance of getting picked up to get on a stage. Because this looks at it from not the perspective of you, the person with the idea, but the event coordinator, the TEDx coordinator. What are they looking for? What do they want to see? What's out of the hundreds or thousands of applications they get, what's going to grab their attention and make them go, oh, wait, we need to look at this one. This thing is set up with all the knowledge of TED around the world and a whole lot more. And mine. And you heard mine TED Talk worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm curious. I'll have to check it out myself because
Yeah.
I think it's such a great idea because I think so often, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, people have a tendency to you question the validity of their own ideas or how important they are. And sometimes they have an excellent idea. I mean, I spoke to a woman who wanted to start a podcast and she does all these luxury cruise things, like not you call up Carnival and you buy the ticket, stuff it's custom cruises where there are all these different things that you can buy as experiences and extra features that 99% of the population doesn't even know exist.
Wow.
I didn't know they existed. She's done this for 15 years. She's got a great presence. She's got all the equipment. I'm like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Well, I just don't know if anyone's going to listen. I said, you don't know if anyone's going to listen to it. I'm like, you've got me riveted. And I was sitting here trying to give you advice about how to get your podcast started. You've got so much information that people would die to hear about. I'm like, get started, get in front of the camera. Don't be nervous. It gets easier. So, all right. So let's say that I validate my idea. I've got a good idea. I want to move forward this, but you still have to structure what you're doing, right? So you gave us sort of, you hit them, you bring them in, you hit them, then build them up kind of thing. But is there a secret to how you actually lay it out when you're writing it or putting together your slides or any of that kind of thing in terms of the process of it?
Well, the next step in the process is, first of all, you've got your idea refined. Okay, now you need to can it in a way that's going to get their attention because there's each TEDx venue has different requirements for what they want to see. Some of them want to see, 500-word essay. Some of them want to see a 1 minute or a 30-second or a 5-minute video, all these different things. And they want to see your little promo blurb. They want to see all these different things. I've got a program. The program I have isn't just a coaching program, though it is, where you've got me coaching you through every step of this with my background and my speaking background. But you've got an AI that's going to, now you've got your idea, it's going to take that and it's going to can it for you. First of all, it's going to look out there and it's going to find the best TEDx venues for you and your message, because not all of them are created equal. Some of them, hey, I did a TEDx talk. Nobody sees them and there's crickets chirping. That's the last noise you want to hear. So you've got to be careful. Or some of them aren't your theme. If you've got a theme to your thing, but it doesn't match their theme, again, you're hitting your head against the wall. And that's the biggest reason people don't do a TEDx talk, is because there's so many different ways to slam your head against that brick wall. So this will it'll find your best venues for you. It will write your materials for you. It will take you through a separate one. These are all separate AIs. And with the best speech writing in existence, will help you develop your talk so it sounds like you. It's got to be you, but the way you want to come across to that specific venue, it's going to build it all for you with your help. You'll work together on it.
That's really cool.
Is that insane? Is this a crazy world we're in now?
It totally is. It totally is. I mean, normally you'd have to hire consultants to do all that kind of stuff, or you just hunt and peck and hope that it worked out.
Yeah. And usually it doesn't. Right. Yeah. So to have, again, this amazing, extreme high level AI trained by me and the best speakers in the world and the most successful TEDx talks in the world and everything, working with you is just crazy. And you can do it as many times as you want while you're in the program there. And then finally, okay, I did my TEDx talk, rocked it, got that standing ovation. How do you get it out to the world? I've got another one in there that takes, again, your message, finds the best avenues out there, writes your press releases, writes your social media, writes your email. It's ridiculous. It's honestly, as I'm developing this, I'm like, God, where was this when I did my TEDx talk? Huh? Where was this?
But the fact that you had to go through it is what gave you the insight to know how to set it up also, you know, and that's the thing. It's sort of like what we talked about coming full circle, where you have a challenge that you're faced with because you had to sort of black box, okay, how do I figure out each of these steps to make this go? But once you've decoded it, now if there's a tool and there's technology out there that you can use to help automate that process and simplify it for other people, fantastic. But if you didn't have that requisite knowledge in the first place, yeah, you could have been a user of it, but you wouldn't have been able to create it because you wouldn't have known how to do it. So that's
I wouldn't be able to tell what. Well, that's absolutely right. And I wouldn't have been able to tell when it's lying to you, because AI does lie to you also. Like, wait, no, that's bull, man. I've had to call it on so many things. But like you said, because I rolled up my sleeves back in those days and know exactly how to do it and what's really supposed to happen. I'm not just some kid that did a little GPT and said, tell it how to get TED Talks. Okay, we're good. No, that's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So now let's say we've got this, we vetted it, we feel good about it, we've created a structure, we're ready to rock and roll, but we still have to actually get them to allow us to go and present it. So I assume there's a lot of people that still have valid ideas, but struggle to ever be able to get them to the stage. So with so many people applying, are there tips and tricks? Are there things that we should know about how to get those event organizers to look at us, to consider bringing us on?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking that. Okay. They want something that seems countercultural. They don't want to hear the same thing over and over and over again. As one example, for instance, my talk's on leadership. Leadership's great. Yeah, they've heard it all. One of my clients is actually Larry Namer. He's the billionaire founder of E-Entertainment TV. And his whole thing is off script. Off script. Is this his book? No, I've got his book over there. Off script. So not being on the regular script. And when this AI put that together and shot it off, we were able to get him a TEDx talk booked. And it wasn't just because he's Larry Namer, the billionaire founder of E-Entertainment TV, but rather, whoa, that's a really cool idea. it's got to be attention getting. It's got to be different than everything they've heard before. And it's got to be along their theme. You've got to show them why it's along with their theme, which is why, again, these AIs are so critical to help you do exactly that. Was that helpful? Did that answer that
Yeah,
question?
yeah, no,
Right on,
that's
man.
great. Because I think that that is what it is. I think what happens is when we try to do something, typically what we do is we look at what's out there and what's working, and we try to
Right.
model that. And there's logic in that, right? There's a lot of things that you can do that if you model what is working, it works for you. This is a little bit different because while there are like structural components and flow and things like that that you can model that matter, like you said, if there isn't anything unique about it, nobody's interested in the second person to come and pitch the same thing or talk
Yeah.
about the same thing or have the same idea. They need something that's new. And I was talking to somebody who actually was booked on talk shows, and one of the things he said, it's striking to me the similarities here, even though there are differences as well. He said with the promoters there, the biggest thing is they don't ever want to look bad. So your job as somebody, if you want to be able to get booked on, Letterman or one of these other shows or whatever, I'm dating myself with that, obviously, but
Right. Right.
the whole idea is that you have to give them something where they have the confidence that if they bring you on, it's not going to swing back on them. So part of that is the credibility piece, the TEDx talk, right? If you've done that already, if you've got a book, if you've got these things, there's some instant things they can lean on and say, well, look, he had this, so it couldn't have been that bad. But the other part of it is you got to give them the confidence to know that if you go on there, you're going to say something that's going to be interesting enough for people to care. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think, that helps a lot. It answers the question. And I think that, I think we do need to sort of rewire our brains a little bit to think about our experiences and the way we can present them in different ways, because
Yeah.
there are these sort of typical sort of storylines. And if we just fall into that, it's sort of just another, okay, yeah, I did that too. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you're not going to stand out that way. So,
Well, that's why I love that stinking AI that we just gave everybody, ideascore.ai, because it's going to give you 5 different angles on your idea. Which one do you like the best? But it's there. It's all compared to what TED is looking for. And again, even when I just first started developing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be insanely powerful. This is going to be so cool. And then as I kept working, and it's been months and months and months of just digging in to make it as powerful as it is. Like this, this whole program is it's a home run. It's a flip and a home run. If somebody wants to get on a TEDx stage, we've got a different program. If you want to get on paid stages, that's a different program, especially if you're an author right now. But if you want to get on a TEDx stage, if you don't get on one, it's your own fault.
yeah, well, look, that's really powerful because I think that for a lot of people, the challenge they have when the story is their own is how to package that, how to frame it, and how to see it from the audience's point of view. I was talking to somebody who's a social media expert, and he said he does social media for a lot of celebrity clients and all this other stuff. And he said, the thing that I asked him, I said, well, what is it that most people get wrong? And he goes, they create content for themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're their own audience. So they're like, oh, well,
Love it.
this is really cool. And so I want to tell you about me. Let me tell you about the audience doesn't care about you, right?
Love
What's
it.
in it for them, right? And
Yeah.
so, and,
Yeah.
and I thought how profound, but how simple, and it's totally logical. But I think
Yeah.
when we're doing it and we're sort of figuring out, that's just naturally how we gravitate because it's the way our minds think. So this is a place where, yes, a consultant and someone who's done there can help, but also AI who can look at it more objectively. And then we can then evaluate that and say, well, this idea I like, that one doesn't resonate with who I am. So I'm going to go
Right.
with this angle instead of that one. And, so I think to your point there, that's perfect.
Well,
So
you hit on something big. Let me say this real quick. I think it's
yeah,
going to help the audience. You hit on something huge right there. So when I'm teaching public speaking in my speaking program, and right now it's set for authors, pagestostages.com. But the first thing you want to do, pagestostages.com, the first thing you want to do is when you walk up on stage, you have to let the audience know why they give a flip about anything you're going to say. What's in it for them? You don't go, oh, yeah, like I said, my name is Terry Fossum, and I got, no, no, no. You've got to get their attention immediately, or they're going to be checking email on their phone. Why do they care? If you can grab them on that first few seconds, then you can own the audience. They can't wait to hear what you've got to say. If you don't do that, they can't wait till you're done talking.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been in rooms with people on stage of, just about every sort of method and idea. And there were things where I didn't think the idea to me I even cared about.
Yeah,
But when the person started speaking, because they were so good at it, I was sucked in and listened to the whole thing. And I've gone to ones where I was excited to attend it, only to be disappointed because I felt like there was something missing. There just wasn't a connection there. And so,
right,
yeah,
right.
there's definitely a skill to that. So, okay, I guess the $1 million question then is it really possible for a regular person to land a TED talk? Like, do we have to be
Yeah.
a celebrity? Do we have to have something behind us that's otherworldly to make it happen?
Great question. Thank you for that. Absolutely not. And how do I know that? I've been on the TEDx stages, right? I've worked with a lot of people now. For instance, when I was on my own TEDx stage, I'm looking around, and most of these folks are just regular folks. They're not celebrities, they're not billionaires or whatever. They're regular folks, but they've got an idea, because that's what TED is all about. Ideas worth sharing. Ideas, not people, not celebrities, not rich folk, ideas worth sharing. So if you've got an idea that can help people, and again, it could be you've got a product to sell, but along with that product or service, you've got a concept that is countercultural, that can help people along those ways. It's not about selling your product; it's about selling your idea, your concept. You can get up there on that stage. It's ideas worth sharing. You got to, folks, if you got an idea at all, I wonder if, whatever, ideascore.ai. It's free. Go check it out. It's fun, actually.
Awesome. Okay, so let's say we go through the process, we get all this, and then we actually get booked. So the day is coming, we're getting closer and closer, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, I got to get on stage and present this now. I know for some people they rank public speaking as their number one fear, even above death. For some people, it's number two, just below death. Other people do love it, I have to say. But for the people that are scared about this or whatever else, are there strategies, tactics? How do you overcome the nerves so when you actually get your shot, you're able to make it land and make it count?
Absolutely. And that's one of my favorite things. Uh, uh, God's honest truth, one of my favorite things is helping get people past that, because it's so easy. It's so easy because, believe it or not, you are already a passionate speaker. Everybody listening, you are already a passionate speaker. If you question that, ask your children. They will confirm that you can be a passionate speaker. If you don't have children, if you've ever been in a relationship, odds are you have spoken passionately, one way or the other. Okay? What's the difference between that point right there, when you're pissed or you've got something that those kids are going to do, they are going to clean up the room or they're not going to get any dinner? What's the difference between that and going up on stage? The difference is you're making it all about you, man. When you're given a message you believe in, like you're going to clean up your room or you ain't getting no dinner, right? It's about the message. It's about your audience is going to take action, whatever that action might be. When you're worried about getting up on stage, you're making it about you. It ain't about you. Get over yourself. It's about your cause. It's about your message. It's about helping the audience understand that message in a way that makes them want to take action, makes the audience want to take action. So don't focus on, oh, am I going to get this right? The audience is going to judge me. They're going to think terrible things about me. I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. I'm going to freeze. I'm going to get stage. Forget all that. You've got a message to share. You've got a difference you want to make in the world. That's what you're there for. Focus only on that, and nothing else is going to matter.
Yeah, and it's a great advice because I do think when we sort of step out of it and we start to look at and think about the external dynamics in the room, that's where you start getting fearful and you start thinking, oh no, did I spill something on my shirt when I was eating before do I look right? Am I sweating? Can people tell I'm nervous? The minute that you're focused on the higher purpose there, the minute that you're focused on the importance of what it is that you're trying to share and the value that it provides to them, if you're successful at being able to convey this, the whole paradigm shifts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you go from a place of fear to a place of passion. And it's pretty hard, I think, to be fearful when you're passionate about something. I don't know, to your point, too many parents that were yelling at their kids that were also afraid at the same time. Uh, I don't. I don't recall too many of those instances for myself. That's for sure. So
yeah. I might not get the words right. No, it's not about that. And I do in my training take people through a technique that I use every single time I speak, every single time that I speak, that makes them the most powerful they've ever been in their life. Right before they go up and get on stage, before they make that sales call, ask for a raise, talk to a board of directors, whatever it is. If you ever see me before I go on stage, they're doing the introduction. Terry's the best guy in the world, all that kind of garbage, right? I'm not even in the room at that point. Now I'm standing right there, but if you watch my eyes, I'm somewhere else completely different, and I'm doing this technique. It is an insanely powerful technique that makes you the most powerful you've ever been in your life, right when you need to be exactly that.
That's fantastic. All right, so now let's say we've gotten through this. We've survived it. We gave our talk. Once we presented it, of course, we're still not totally at the mountaintop. I mean, we've got a lot of the work done, but at this point, we want to be able to leverage that. We want to get speaking gigs. We want to, get on podcasts. We want to land, high ticket clients, whatever it is, sell our products, sell our books. Is there a best practice? Is there a method? Is there a strategy around that?
Many. And yeah, that's, of course, some of the stuff I teach in the course. One of the things is, okay, you've got speaking footage, because if you've picked the right one and the AI helped you do that, you've got a multi-camera shoot. You've got 5 cameras on you and the audience at all time. You've got professional audio. You've got a TEDx stage, for goodness sake, right? As your backdrop, all right? Every email you send, every website, everything you send out now has at least clips of your TEDx talk on there. You now have a speaker reel. I kind of said that earlier on, but if you're going to try to get paid speeches, they want to see you speak. And a lot of people who are just starting out go, but I don't have any footage. I haven't been on any stages. Okay, now you got some of the best footage you will ever have in your life. You send this to the people you want to get to hire you, and you've got their full attention now, man. A TEDx talk is not an end. Now, some people, come on board my program, like my life's goal is do a TED talk. Like, rock and roll, we'll get you there, no problem. But for most of us, it is indeed a means to an end. It does help you sell more books, get on those paid stages. And we can talk more about that if you want to. Got a crazy program for that. Sell more products, sell your service, get more high-level coaching clients, whatever it might be, or create your legacy, make a difference in the world. Maybe you got nothing you want to sell, nothing you want to promote, but you've got an idea that can change people's lives. Those are the ones, quite frankly, that I love the best, because it's all about making a difference in the world. And there's no larger stage in the world right now than the TEDx stage.
Terrific. All right. So recap for us. Where can people find you, find your products, find your services?
I can't hide anywhere these days. I'm easy to find. But the AI to help you if you want to check out your idea for a TEDx talk, and then you'll go through a training. It's going to give you a training of some of the stuff we talked about and a whole lot more. It'll pull it up for you. You can watch it. And you can get in touch with me through that for the TEDx talk if you're interested in that. And that's ideascore.ai, ideascore.ai. Another one that may be of interest is I've got the world-class speaker program for those who want to get on the page stages big time. And it's got all of my background. How do you work with agents? In fact, if you go through it, you actually get access to my agent who is an agent for celebrities. I'm putting together a speaker bureau, the whole bit. If you're an author, pages2stages.com, pages2stages.com. If you're not an author but interested, reach out to me. I'm putting together all of those materials right now within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, if you want to get if you want to get on paid stages, man, this program, Brett, is just off the flipping charts. I'm giddy about it. I'm just giddy
I
about it.
can hear it. I can
Yeah.
hear it. I can
Yeah.
feel the passion. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Is let me ask you, is TEDTalkTest.com still up as well?
No, I had to take that down. That was for everybody that's going, what's he talking about? That was a URL I set up when I was setting up this whole program, but then realized I can't use the word TED, right? Because I'm not associated with the TED program. So, okay, wait, for branding purposes, I can't use the word TED. Could I get away with it? Maybe. Do I want to? No. Brett and I are both Eagle Scouts. So we try to do the right thing. So as soon as I realized that, like, oh, okay, then nope, not doing it. Not doing that at all. So that's why ideascore.ai.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. So I have one last question I've got to ask because I always want
Sure.
to know what everyone's going to say. And that's, what's your number one tip for success as a business owner or an entrepreneur?
So it's kind of funny. I'm actually getting this question a bit. Now I was just about to go into this really high level networking event down in Phoenix, and this influencer stopped me outside the event, and she's got me on live camera, just like that. And if people had to think about 3 words that that you want to be remembered by, what would those 3 words be? And they're waiting for never give up, or all that kind of stuff, which is understandable. And okay, if I wanted to be remembered by 3 words, he really cared. He really cared. That's what matters to me. And you know what? If you want to apply that to success in business, then care about people. Truly care about people. Care about helping them with whatever your product or service is. If you're an employer, whatever, truly care. And that's why I love Brett's podcast, because he's marrying the two. You can have your business, you can have your life, because the most important thing is caring. I was just meeting, actually, we had a new scout executive in our area here. I'm real involved in scouting. And we're touring around one of our camps. And a gentleman who's in charge of that camp, and he took over Scoutmaster after me. I was just about to get out of the car, like, man, I got to run. I got to go get on Brett's podcast here. And he stopped me, and he looked at the new CEO and said, you got to know something about this guy. He was on a movie shoot back east. I do some acting and producing. He was on a movie shoot back east. He cut in the middle of his movie to fly in to go to my son's Eagle Scout ceremony, and then flew back into the movie shoot. And of course I did. Of course I did. That's the important stuff. Never lose track of the important stuff, y'all. Caring about people is critical. It always will be. If you don't care about people, you're going to hate your own life. If you do care about people, they're going to care about you. And that's a much better way to live.
It's, I have to say, it's disarmingly simple, but it's so profound. It really is. And I've talked to a lot of people with a lot of different advice, and a lot of it is very good,
Yeah.
but you're the first person that's ever said that and said it in that way. And when you say it, it completely resonates, because I couldn't agree more. I think it's so important. When you find so much more value in the things you do, when it comes from a place of caring, when it comes from a place of trying to help other people get better at what they're doing, improve their lives, whatever it is you're doing. And so almost, it's sort of an interesting connection here with the TED Talk thing as well, right? Because the whole idea is, when you are focused on the message because your whole purpose is to help and to serve,
Yeah.
it's hard to be nervous about that.
Yeah.
When you're in it for yourself and you're in it for your own interests, it's easy to be nervous, because you recognize, oh, I'm being selfish here. I'm trying to do this for me and for what I'm
Right.
going to gain.
Yeah.
When you know and you believe that it's in someone else's best interest for you to help them, and that's what you're trying to do, it just comes natural. And I think that's terrific and amazing advice. So I appreciate that. I want to thank you again so much, Terry, just for sharing all your insights, coming on today. It was awesome, all the things that you shared. You gave the links several times. I want to encourage everybody to go do that, because I think what he's got here is really special. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, remember, everybody, no matter what you want for your business and your life, don't compromise, optimize.